You know, this is a great role for you, I know, and you look so energized in this picture. You look like you were having a great time doing it, too, working with David O. Russell and this style. Can you talk about the style of acting that he allowed you to do? Because I know he had several cameras and kind of 360-degree angles and things and just drew lines out. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, we basically knew what we were doing, but then David would, which was not something that I saw coming, but it didn't matter, where he would orchestrate like a conductor. He'd put the camera here, or he'd put it there, or just everybody was moving around. The actors were getting out of the way of the cameraman while it was a handheld shot, or a steady cam, which is another kind of camera that works and keeps its sort of balance. It was terrific because it gave everything a certain type of immediacy, a spontaneity, an unexpectedness that when he'd throw lines at us from time to time, he knew all the characters, so whatever he threw at us was totally within keeping of what you would expect the character to say, and that added a certain energy to the whole thing. It was great.
Are you a Philadelphia Eagles fan?
No.
This is why you are the greatest actor.
Yes, I actually had to be a fanatic, which I'm not for the Eagles or any football team.
What was it like, Bradley, the father-son dynamic here is fantastic. The whole family dynamic is, but you guys had worked together on Limitless. So how does that help, having that kind of relationship before coming into this and then playing father and son and walking into it? Like a 33-day, you said, 33-day schedule, not long to do this.
Well, it's always, of course, good to have that built-in relationship. It just makes people comfortable. There's no... you could not have it and it'd still be good, but there's no downside to having the relationship that Bradley and I have. It just makes it easier and better. And in some ways, I can't even explain what it is, but it's definitely not a bad thing. It's good,
What drew you to this to make you say yes? How did you come into it? Do you read the script? Because the book, the character you play is different in the book. He's darker, much darker.
Yeah, he's more, I wouldn't say introverted, he's just more, he just likes to go to his room a lot and look at television and go to his room and get away from the family or something, but he's like he's funny, but in a much more subdued kind of muted way, and David sort of turned the character inside out, I like to say, where he gave him more colors and so on, like pulled him out. If he actually would be expressive, maybe if he was on drugs or something, he'd be a little more, but so it made it much more fun in certain ways to do it. Not that the other wouldn't have been, but it was...
David, why did you do that with Pat Sr.? Why did you change that?
Well, I just wanted to make it more like, I feel like my own... I mean, this is a beautiful opportunity to tell a story about my son, but instead of my son, it was Bradley Cooper. And instead of me, it was Robert De Niro. And so I wanted to reflect the roller coaster that a parent has with such a person, when to intervene, when not to intervene, how to handle it. And to have great love for that son, but also to have great anger and frustration, and yet also to have your own issues, which I identified with my own father. If you wanted to talk about anything serious with my father, you had to watch a lot of TV with him. And, so I understood that. Every character has their own bridge you must go across. With Tiffany, it is the bridge of her directness and her dance. With Pat, it's the bridge of his desire to be with his wife. You will not connect with him unless you go over that bridge. You have to, and with Mr. De Niro, it's the bridge of his bookmaking, which we did. We set the film in the year of 2008 when many people lost their pensions and jobs. And so he's supporting his family by turning to bookmaking, but he's also a bit OCD. And, I will also say that Jacki Weaver, is in many ways the pillar of the film in the way that, I remember Robert De Niro, who fortunately for me admired The Fighter, and said to me that he felt that the quiet roles are so essential and so hard to do, and he taught us all that by doing less and little, you can be so present. If you're just present, you'll be real. And so, Jackie, anytime the camera went to her, you know, she was so present, so much emotion was coming off of her. Her bridge is the wish to save her son and keep her household together, and to mitigate between her husband and her son. And you know, I could go on about every actor up here, but I just wanted to say that about Jackie.
Yeah, and